Hey, welcome back. Riggs here. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Been enjoying 1.16, loving all the new blocks and the nether exploration. But today I want to focus just on ancient scraps, where to find them, and how to make netherite armor. But yeah, I found a pretty good technique of how to find this stuff that I wanted to share with you and sort of talk about some of the issues you may encounter trying to get it. But let's get this stuff smelting and we can come back and make some upgrades for our diamond gear, make some netherite stuff. But actually, to talk about this, let's switch into a creative world and I can show you what I'm talking about. Okay, here we are in my creative world. I was messing around with all the new blocks. Yeah, what do you think of these new blocks? They're quite something. Really an unusual kind of color scheme, much more vibrant, kind of saturated than anything we have before. But I think they're, kind of fantastic, like in the, sort of fantasy way. But I like the trapdoors. Yeah, I love them. But we're not here to talk about these new blocks, although they are nice. Yeah, I like the purple purple stairs and all this crazy. And this beautiful block of netherite, which we'll never be able to use because this stuff is hard to find, which is what we're here to talk about today. But yeah, let's talk about netherite gear first, just real quick. Just brief note, netherite gear is now the best, but it doesn't mean that diamond is any less than it used to be. Diamond is still really good. Diamond will still do everything that it used to be able to do. I don't think that they are going to add anything to the game that you will absolutely need netherite for, which I think is a good thing. I think it would be a mistake if they made it like all of a sudden necessary. But it does have some really nice benefits. Let's talk about those. So real quick, looking at the netherite armor, it has knockback resistance. It also has about 12% more durability over the diamond gear. And then the tools and weapons, I think, are a better deal. You get better attack damage, so it's 8 versus 7 for the sword, 10 versus 9 for the axe, and then faster mining speed for the netherite pickaxe. So not a total game changer, but a definite improvement. Another unique feature of netherite gear is that it floats in lava. So, hopefully that's a feature you won't need to use very often, but the nether being like it is, it might come in handy. You can tell this villager's impressed. Yeah, a full suit of this armor is going to definitely attract some attention. But to get this gear, we're going to be heading into the nether. So let's talk about what we're going to need when we go there. Normal nether rules apply. Always bring a flint and steel in case your portal becomes extinguished. You're going to want some ghast resistant blocks, so stone or something like that. Always carry wood. That's just true in Minecraft, right? You can't do anything without wood. This would be a time to get some good fire protection gear. If you're at the point in the game where you can make some fire resistant potions, so be it. You don't need a night vision potion unless you're recording a video for YouTube, in which case I recommend it. We're going to talk about the pros and cons of TNT. And you're going to want at least an efficiency 4 pick. That'll instant mine netherrack. And then definitely bring some gravity blocks. So that's sand or gravel. That's going to be useful for getting around in the nether, but then also filling in some lava pockets. We're going to be meeting lots of lava, and we're going to want a way to deal with it. A ladder to get back up, and then depending on where you are in the game, these will also obviously help with some nether navigation. But let's go into the nether, and we can show you where we find this stuff. Ooh, gosh, you can hope for a better spawn than these guys have. But let's take a look and see where we find this stuff. So here we are deep in the nether, and that is where you're going to want to look for these ancient scraps, or the ancient debris. I keep calling them scraps. But yeah, there are 2 veins per chunk. And by the way, check out the new color sign. It's pretty sweet. 2 veins of these ancient debris per chunk. The first one is going to be between Y levels 8 and 22. And that's going to be between 1 and 3 ancient debris. And then the second one is going to be between Y levels 8 and 119, which is way up in the nether ceiling. And so yeah, 2 per chunk, and that's an area exactly this size. And so pretty rare, but you're going to want to come down here because you get a better chance of finding 2, or at very least 1 per chunk down here. And here is one naturally spawning one that I found. And then I also noticed another chunk of 2 there, at least 2. I wonder if there's one behind it. Yeah, that is in a different, oh yeah, there's 3 there. And that's in a different chunk, so that almost kind of proves the point. One very important detail about ancient debris is that it is TNT resistant. So we can take advantage of that. So we'll use TNT in a second to blow some stuff up, which will be fun, but I think the preferred method is probably going to be some old school mining. It'll be a little less dynamic, shall we say. But I think lower the better. You're going to have a better chance of running into some lava oceans up higher. And if a vein is between 1 and 3, the size of 1 and 3, you're going to want to start digging a little bit up. And conveniently, that happens to be level Y11. Ring any bells? So depending on your spawn, getting down to Y level 11 might be a bit of a challenge. And a little early game trick I wanted to show you guys, hope you know, is it's always good to have gravity blocks when you're going to the Nether for the first time. If you have one of these situations where you have to go, well, you're going down into a pit of lava here, but you can create a pillar of sand. And then once you have a pillar of sand, hopefully not over a pool of fiery death, you can use this as your elevator down and then build a little ladder to get yourself back up. So, however you find your way down to Y level 11, then it's time to get digging. So many of the things for overworld mining are probably true for this kind of mining. You might want to create a big grid, except you want to be really aware of the fact that you might hit a pocket of fiery death at any moment. So the very first thing you want to do, thank you for doing that on cue, is dig a little hole for it to fall into. No big deal. And then you just replace it and you're on your way. So if you kind of just be aware, don't get too complacent, and make sure that you keep your hunger topped off, and you should be just fine. I did most of my mining without any kind of fire protection. See, there you go. Just dig a little hole, and you're okay. So yeah, that's great. So the first thing you want to do is dig a big tunnel, but you also want to take advantage of the fact that you have instant mine. So remember that your biggest resource is time, and what you're trying to do is uncover as many blocks as possible. So take advantage of the fact that you have instant mine and dig out a big T. Remember, we don't care about the netherrack. We can leave it there. What we're trying to do is uncover blocks and see if we can find any ancient debris. So kind of like in the overworld, you're going to want to create a grid, but instead of having just 3 blocks in between each layer, sort of set it up over here, you can have 11 blocks in between each mining row, and then you uncover them just by using that instant mine. And you're uncovering a huge amount of blocks per second. And so I found great success doing that. And I thought that was a great little tip, sort of mining in these long T sections. So T mining, right? Okay, time to blow some stuff up. I have not done a lot of research on TNT. I've been doing most of my stuff in survival, and I don't have a lot of TNT yet. I also find that TNT tends to be a little bit more chaotic than I tend to like to deal with. Ends up leaving a lot of a mess, but it does blow up. TNT versus netherrack, it's not a fair fight. So it does uncover a huge amount of bricks. This actually might be a pretty viable way of doing things now that I'm looking at it. Once you have enough TNT, but it's going to uncover a lot of lava, so you have to be prepared to do that. Definitely, I think if you're at the point where you have a lot of TNT, you probably have access to potions of fire resistance, so might be a good combination. Had to do a little bit more blowing things up. I mean, research. We're doing TNT research is what this is, right? Oh, goodness. All right, maybe that's a little excessive. Oh, yeah, it does create some big lava pockets as well. They definitely have improved the TNT performance. Yeah, that creates a huge pit. Not seeing any ancient debris. But kind of a big mess, too. Although, who cares? I guess, right? Seems like putting TNT down every 4 seems to be about the sweet spot where it does just activate the next one, unless it blows up a little bit too much. Yeah, it seems to be pretty consistent. So that's pretty effective. So if you have good access to TNT, I say go with it. So my final advice to you, I guess, would be to do the T mining. Make them about 12 or 11 blocks apart. And then you can see I found 2 ancient debris right there. And that was I was doing that in survival. I wasn't even using the TNT for that part. But yeah, if you do have access to TNT, what I would do would be maybe to put it along one row, about 4 apart. That would create a big, huge mess on this side. And then just move over, about 15 blocks and rinse, repeat, do the T row again and add TNT if you want. Back in my survival world, and I'll get my 12 netherite scraps that are done cooking up. And I can make 3 whole netherite ingots, which is good for 3 upgrades. So I'm going to make a netherite sword, which with the increased damage plus smite 5, I'll be able to one-hit pigmen and get rid of this bane of arthropods. Yeesh. But yeah, anyway, I hope you found these little tips helpful. I'm going to get back. I have a seed video all ready to go. which is a really good one. And I've been hard at work in the survival world here, so I have more of that coming soon. But until next time, this has been Riggs, and I encourage you to push all of the buttons available to you. And yeah, until next time, I love you. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.